Over the next several weeks, I'll be publishing video lessons about digital marketing where I'll share insights that I've learned over the past 22 years as a digital marketing strategist. In this lesson, we'll talk about the different online marketing channels you can use to market your products and services and the order in which you should implement each marketing strategy. Please keep in mind that this lesson is intended to serve as a general guideline. While the order in which you implement these strategies may vary depending on your industry and the business type, the principles outlined here should be applicable to most service and product-based businesses. As we move through this quick lesson, I'll provide you with examples of businesses that should follow this guideline and those that should implement these channels in a different order. By the end of this lesson, you'll have a better idea of where to focus your marketing efforts if you're on a limited budget and can't implement everything at once. So let's get started. The first item on the list is on-page SEO. I'm going to first define what SEO means, what on-page SEO also means, and why it is the first on the list. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and it's basically the activity and the process of getting your business and your website listed on search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing's. And it is also the activity of getting yourself ranked as high up in the search results as possible. You want to be number one in the free listings to get free traffic to your website and to your business. So, what is on-page SEO and why is it first on the list? On-page means on your website and on each page of your website. Essentially, you're going to be adding words and you're going to be adding certain elements to your codes and on your page so that Google knows what your website is about. And so it knows that, for example, if let's say you provide mold and mildew removal in the area of Tampa Bay, Florida. Well, then if you put all of the elements as needed on each page of your website and on your website in general, then Google will know that your website is relevant for the keyword mold removal near me or more mold removal services in Tampa Bay, Florida. You see? And so that is the first step, because if you're selling a service or a product, you're going to need a website. And if you're going to build a website, you might as well incorporate the on-page SEO elements as needed. It's going to save you some money in the long run, as opposed to building a website now and then hiring someone who understands SEO to put these elements on your website later on. So that's why I put it number one. But don't expect the world from this. Even if you put all of these elements in place, there's so much competition out there that by itself is probably not going to do much. But at least at this point, when Google will come and visit your website and index each page on Google, and maybe also Yahoo will do the same and Bing will do the same, at least at this point, you've introduced yourself to Google. You told them, this is what I'm about. Google may not list you on the first page. It may list you on the third, fourth, or fifth page. So I wouldn't expect too much traffic coming from that. But this is where the next element of SEO comes into place, which is called off-page SEO. Number two is off-page SEO, but in relation to Google business. So let me define first what off-page SEO is and how Google business will work to help you generate some traffic immediately to your business. Off-page SEO is basically activities you do that is not on your website, is off your website. And the main purpose of off-page SEO is to build trust with Google. Let's say there is 200 mold removal companies in your area competing for the first, second, third, and fourth, and fifth position in the Google search results. Well, at first, when you first introduce yourself, Google doesn't know if you're a legitimate company or if you do provide good services and so forth. So Google wants to put number one, the one that has the most authority in that field or the most trust, the one who can deliver the best results. And so when you first get yourself indexed, you're not going to rank very high up there. But there is a little bit of a shortcut, and that is off-page SEO with Google Business. And that is a business listing that you see on Google Maps. So if you look at mold removal near me or mold removal in the Tampa Bay area, you will find that the first listings are paid advertising. They're sponsored listings. But right below that, you will see the map and some business listing. That is not a website listing, but business listing on Google. These are Google listings and they are called Google Business. And if you provide services in where you actually meet the client face to face, that means either you go to the client or the client comes to you, but you basically are a local company, then you're eligible to create what's called a business listing on Google Business. And it will show on Google Map. And the way this works is if somebody does a search on their phone of a business near them, the proximity in which they are to you will have a big effect on whether or not you will rank number 1, number 2, number 3, or not even show up in the top 25. So if somebody is doing a search and they're like really close to you, you might actually beat in the ranking people who are maybe 2 miles away or 3 miles away. You see what I mean? Or 10 miles away. So that's one factor, and it's a big factor. Another factor though is the rating and the reviews. The ones who have the best rating and the best reviews, they will, if they're close enough to the person doing the search, they will rank above you. And so it is not that difficult to get that listing in place. You have to be a little bit careful though when setting up this listing, because it's different settings whether they come to see you or whether you come to see them, and you have to show a certain location. So if you have a store where people come in to your store, it's different settings, and it's easy to kind of get yourself banned from Google Business. So you have to make sure you do it right. So either take your time to read each step, or you can hire us to get it done for you. It's not that expensive because it can be done pretty quickly. Okay. Now, once this is set up, then you can ask some of your clients to go and write some reviews for you. And you want to do that over time as well. And the ones who kind of spend a little bit of time, a little bit of resources to add more reviews over time are the ones who are going to start ranking better than their competitors. So that's why I put off-page SEO Google Business, is because it's kind of a shortcut. If you look at the search results, the sponsor listing comes first. The second one is the Google Business listings. And then you have to scroll down to go to the number 1 position of website listings where they're listed for free. And so having a Google Business listing is very advantageous if you qualify for it. Now, the people who disqualify for it are people who are, for example, are e-commerce. They don't visit the client and everything is done online. And so, if you service the entirety of the United States and you don't go and visit the client, then you don't necessarily qualify for that listing. Okay. Now, third on the list is content marketing part 1. First, I'm going to define what content marketing is, and then I'll explain why I say part 1. Content marketing is about creating content on your blog and on social media, so that people, when they consume that content, they see what your business is about. They understand the benefit of your product, the benefit of your service, the features, and so forth, and why they should come to see you. And the main purpose of content marketing is to establish yourself as an authority. The reason why you want to create that is because you'll be surprised how much research people will do nowadays before they make a decision in hiring or buying a certain product or hiring a certain service provider. I'll give you an example of that. I have a client, it's Nuts on the Run, and they sell natural caramel pecans, natural cinnamon almonds, and so forth. They're really a candy store. They do have some no sugar alternatives, but most of their sales are actually the savory, but sweet savory kind of thing, kind of sweet and sour or salted and sweet kind of thing. They call them savory. And they have those sweets, nuts, caramel pecans, cashews, almonds, and so forth. So it was an interesting thing when they asked me to do a social media campaign. I looked at their Facebook account, and their statistics, and I see 0 people coming to their page, 0 every day. And all of a sudden, 800 people are coming to their page, 2,000 people, 1,500 people, 2,800, and then boom, 0 again. And you ask yourself, what just happened during that time? Those 3 to 5 days, what just happened there? And then I look maybe 2 months later, all of a sudden it shoots up to 800, 2,000, 1,500 people a day coming to their page, and then 0. And when I look at what was happening during those days, these are the days they launched an ad campaign on Facebook. Okay, the first few times that I see the spikes, it was on Facebook. And so what happened is these ads have a click now to send them to the website. They're not sending them to the page, but all of a sudden you see this spike going on, right? And what happened is people go to their page to check them out. They want to see what this company is about. And that is for cinnamon almonds. Imagine what people do when it is for, when they are about to hire someone for thousands of dollars to remove mold, or to renovate their kitchen, or to get some custom closets, all of these kind of things. They're really gonna go and check you out on your social media accounts. Now, there was one situation with Nuts on the Run where I see the spike, but I see no Facebook ads. And I look for maybe Google ads, and yes, they had launched a Google ad. And even though it was on Google, the spike still happened on Facebook. So they see the ad, they get interested, they go check Facebook to see what they're about. Like, they want to do their due diligence before they purchase something online. And so have at least some content online and on your social media so people can consume it. The person, if for example, you have enough content, at least a little bit of content where people can consume something, you become more real to them. They get to know you better. And so they're more likely to hire you than to hire a competitor where they spend maybe a couple of minutes on their website to read what they're about. Because in your case, they probably spend a couple of minutes on your website, but they will spend more time consuming your content. Some people like to read, some people would like to watch videos on YouTube, some people like to go and watch videos or read a post on social media. So that's what content marketing part 1 is. The purpose of part 1 content marketing is just to set up some credibility and build up some trust with the viewer. So that's what part 1 is. There's going to be a part 2 a little bit later on in that list of marketing strategies that we're going to show you. So that's number 3 on the list, because right now what we're doing is we're setting ourselves up to launch an ad campaign. All right. And the reason why we want to launch an ad campaign is because ad campaign can generate income right away. Most companies, they want to start with SEO. They want to do on-page SEO, off-page SEO. And yes, we start as the 2 first ones because they're quick. But most of the off-page SEO takes months to do, which we're going to talk about a little bit later in this video. But taking months to get yourself ranking higher and higher and higher while you're not getting any sales, that's a lot of expense. You want to get sales now so that you can take part of your profit and then reinvest it to the next strategy in our list. So we create a little bit of content in order for people to, when they come and check you out, they see what you're about and they're more willing to buy from you. Now, some company can get away with not creating any content. If your website, if your ad can prove or demonstrate visually and prove that you can get the desired results that they're looking for, you might be able to get away without creating the content marketing part 1. However, when I say that, is that you'll be able to make your ad viable. People will still be able to sign up because there's going to be enough of a percentage of people that will not go and search your accounts before filling out the form. As long as your marketing process is very good and your ad is very good, you might be able to get away with it. But by creating the content marketing part 1, you're still going to increase your conversion rate because it's always going to be a percentage of people that will do their due diligence. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is social media marketing. Now, what is the difference between content marketing and social media marketing? A social media post is about getting people to write comments. It's about to get people engaged, to like, to ask questions, and to engage with you. While content marketing part 1 is more about establishing yourself as an authority or building trust or creating more reality about your products, about your services, and about, why your service is the right service. Like what this video that I'm creating, it's not social media marketing. It's there's a bit of a blur line here, but it's more of a content marketing kind of content because it's there to establish myself as an authority by showing a little bit of my expertise so that you see why I operate the way I operate when I launch an ad campaign. Okay? So this one is social media marketing part 1, and that is to start getting a little bit of engagement with your people and get people to comment and so forth, which builds more trust. And now we're ready for paid advertising. Now, the reason why I use paid advertising as the first main method of generating traffic, leads, and sales is because, in my opinion, it is the most affordable way of getting those leads and sales quickly if you're on a limited budget. I know that sounds counterintuitive. Most companies want to go for SEO and try to get some free traffic. The problem with that is it may take 1 year to 2 years to really rank well on the keywords that are worthwhile, that would generate enough traffic to generate enough sales. And so you have to pay someone to do all of that labor during that time without you getting a positive return on your investment. The same thing with social media and content marketing. It may take up to 6 months to 1 year before you start getting a positive return on investment from this method of generating traffic. But with paid advertising, it's a different story. If you do it intelligently, especially if you set up some basic content marketing and social media at first, you might be able to actually generate your a positive cash flow. You might actually get a good positive return on your investment within a week of launching your ads. Now, sometimes, depending on the industry you're in and depending on your offer, it may take up to 2 weeks, even a month to generate a positive return on your investment. So that's why we start with paid advertising, because now you're getting a positive return on your investment. You can take a percentage of that profit and use it to finance the next steps on our video, on our list. Okay? Instead of financing all of that out of your own pocket, you can take a percentage of that profit that you're getting from paid advertising and further improve your SEO, further improve your content marketing and your social media marketing, or even further expand on your paid advertising and generate more and more leads and more sales to the level you're able to service your clients. But let's talk about the different types of paid advertising that we can launch. The first one is Google Ads. Google Ads is incredible right now, especially with artificial intelligence. They have ways now for Google to look at what's happening on your website, because you can put some code on your website. They can determine who is actually becoming a lead, who is becoming a customer, and then they can analyze the different criteria of these people, and because they have so much information about us nowadays, and launch an ad campaign that will target the people who most resembles those who have been turning into leads and sales on our website. Also, they have YouTube ads who are pretty cheap. YouTube is considered to be the second largest search engine in the world. The first largest search engine in the world is Google. The second one is YouTube, which is also owned by Google. And the third one, which we're going to talk about a bit further down, is Pinterest. We'll talk about the Pinterest, which is such an undervalued social media, and I'll explain why in a bit. But so you have Google Ads, which include YouTube ads. It includes that, videos, which are incredible. People will search for certain information. They will search they will research certain brands, and a lot of people, what they will do is that they will start their search on YouTube and Pinterest before they figure out who they want to hire, which is a huge thing to understand. That means that they don't quite yet understand which brand they're going to go for. They're kind of a blank canvas. And now you can address and build your brand at the early stage of them doing their research for a service or a product like yours. That's a big thing, okay? So YouTube ads, don't underestimate it. Don't underestimate the artificial intelligence of Google Ads, which is called the Performance Max. And also, there's another thing to understand about Google is that anyone who has a blog, anyone who has a news website or have any kind of sort of website can display Google Ads. And so there's millions of websites that display Google Ads on millions of different subjects. And so you're able to target websites based on keywords, based on subjects, or you can based on specific websites you want to target. If you want to target CNN, Fox News, if you want to target certain pages, you can do that with Google Ads. So you can really target on your audience. There's also a way for Google to target. They know based on their search, based on what they're saying on Gmail, based on what their activities. They know when someone is in the market of buying a service like yourself, and so you can actually say target anyone who's in the market of certain subjects. They may not be able to target exactly what you're looking for, but you can target people who are pretty close to what you need fairly cheaply to make it viable. So if you're interested in doing so, in testing Google Ads, give us a call. We have people who have my Google Ad guys. He's a certified Google Ad expert, and he's been doing this for 10 years. I've personally been doing it for 22 years. Well, that's not true. Since 2004, 19 years at the time of recording this video. So give us a call and we'll show you how we can target specific audiences, because Google Ads, as incredible as it is also fairly complicated. It's a complex kind of platform, and you gotta know how to get it right. All right, let's go to the next one. Facebook ads. Now, there was a big, I think Google Ads is a bit more valuable, but once you've launched your Google Ads, there's also Facebook ads. And Facebook ads, you have to really understand them. I hear customers will tell me, oh, Google, that doesn't work for us, or our audience is not on Facebook, so it's not worth it for us to do it because our ads did not work. And then we launched the ad and it works. And the main reason is that you have to understand the objectives of Facebook. I don't want to get into complicated on this, but Facebook, you can target people very cheaply with videos specifically, but you can do image ads, video ads. You can do a mixture of both. There's all kinds of things you can do with Facebook that is pretty amazing. And Facebook ad includes Instagram, because Instagram is owned by Facebook, and you can actually target Facebook and Instagram from the same interface. The next one is Pinterest. Now, Pinterest, a lot of people, there's a few things to understand. If you're in Canada or US, it's about 43 to 45% of household income above $100,000 will go to Pinterest to get their next best idea. It's like going to YouTube, where they will research what their next purchase should be, or what are their options in relation to solving a certain problem. And so Pinterest, especially if you're in the home decor, but even if you are in the service business, they'll go to Pinterest to get some ideas of how to solve certain problems. So Pinterest is considered to be the third largest search engine in the world. So if you look at Google, YouTube, and Pinterest, they're all bigger than Bing and Yahoo. Okay, Bing and Yahoo falls way down on the list of search engines. Well, not necessarily way down the list on search engine, but in terms of market share. Okay, so Pinterest is actually a pretty amazing place to advertise, especially if you're targeting women, because the majority of people that goes to Pinterest are actually women. It's like 70% or something like that or above. The next one is TikTok. Now, TikTok videos have been the big craze because TikTok's kind of the new kids on the block where the advertising is very cheap. By the way, going back to Pinterest, the cost of advertising is about half or less as Facebook, right? Just to understand how amazing of an opportunity it is. TikTok is also pretty cheap, and they have a great a great way of targeting your audience as well. And so I wouldn't discard them. I would look, if you're going to do some ads for Facebook, especially video ads, then I would look at TikTok. Next. The next action is email marketing. Now, email marketing, the reason why you want to have email marketing is that if your business is going to be set up properly, hopefully you're not just selling one product that makes all of your profit and there's nothing else you sell to the client. You should find out at least 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or more products that you can sell to the same clients so that you can solve, and they should all be related, the same audience, same clients. And the reason for that is it is expensive to get the first client. To get that first client is expensive. And if you're able to get more than one sale from the same client, then you could outspend your competitors. If they only sell one product and you can sell multiple products, you don't need to make a profit on the first product. You can actually break even or even lose money. I can tell you stories of, for example, this guy in the dating business where he was selling an ebook for $27 and he was spending $60 to get that one sale of $27. And he made millions. How is that possible? How's the math? The math doesn't work, right? He spends $60, he makes $27 to sell that ebook. That's because he had other products he was selling to that same audience. There was an upsell from an ebook to a $200 course. And then there was a workshop for $1,200. And so he found out that his average customer value was $108. So he was willing to spend $60 all day long to build his customer list to make $108. The vast majority only paid $27, but there's a percentage of them that pay the $1,200 or the $200, which increased the average value of a customer to about $108. And so he was able to sell that company for millions of dollars. And if you're able to at least break even or even lose a little bit of money, then you can outspend your competition. And if you have a good email marketing automation system in place, and it's not that expensive right nowadays, you don't need to be a programmer, you don't need to be a big company. There's very affordable solution out there that allows you to create all of these automation system that we're going to talk about in a minute here, where if they become a lead but they don't buy, you send a sequence of email. If they buy, you can send a sequence of emails that upsells them or cross-sells them. If cross-sells them means that it's not an upsell of the same product, but it's selling another relevant product that is, well, relevant, but it's not an upsell, right? And if, let's say, they added to cart, but didn't finish their purchase, well, then you can send them a reminder saying, hey, your product's still in your cart, go buy it. There's all kinds of automation you can create, and when you do that, it will just explode your profit because sending an email costs nothing. What costs is the cost is usually on the size of the email. The larger your email list is, the more money you spend to keep that email list. But that's not a big deal because the bigger your email list, the more money you'll make, and the cost versus the income is disproportionate. And so by sending an email, it costs you nothing. You can increase your sales dramatically. And since it costs nothing to get that sale, it's pure profit, you see? So let's go look at the different types of email automation that we're talking about here. The welcome series this one is designed to brand yourself. This is what's called the welcome series or the branding series. One of the things that people do is that they will try to promote the benefit of the product, but they don't brand themselves. What you want is you want the person to really like your company or to like you as a company or as an expert if you're a service provider or you're a coach or something like that. And so you need to provide a very short series of maybe 2 or 3 emails, maybe 4 emails at the most, where it brands you so that they remember you. And so when you send an email, they know, oh, this is the guy. I like this company. I'm going to open their email. And so you should have that for anyone who first enters your email list. The next one is email sequences to sell the product. So let's say they became a lead. Let's say your service provider, they became a lead, but they didn't buy your product yet. Well, then you need to add them to an email sequence. And there's all kinds of services, not services, but strategies where you first, talk about the benefit. Maybe another part that you talk about, the problem that it solves. There's all kinds of strategies. I don't want to go too much into it, but if you apply the strategies properly, you should have a pretty good percentage of people to actually end up buying your product after they become a lead. Okay. For example, I'll give you an example. That is the benefit, fear, and the analytical feature one, where you talk about the benefit. If they don't buy, you talk about some features and the logic why they should buy from you. And if they don't buy, there's the fear part where, interesting, as much as I hate that particular term, it is probably the best performing email. And by fear, I mean, hey, you're going to get that discount, but, it's over by midnight, so that people gets that sense of, okay, I'm going to lose on this opportunity if I don't take action right now. Or they say, this workshop will close by midnight. You're going to lose out on this. And it's for some reason, that particular email outperformed all the other ones. So it's just the way it is. All right, next. The next one is automated upsell marketing. As I told you, you want to have more than one product to sell to the person. Now you might say, well, I don't want to keep selling to people. Well, if they're buying, it's because you're solving a problem. And so the idea is actually to keep providing value, the next valuable product, the next valuable service that will solve their problem. And people would rather buy from someone they already know than going buy somewhere else. So you make it easy on them, find something else that they will need and sell it to them and send it through an email campaign because that's cheap, right? It costs you nothing to send that email. The next one is the infamous abandonment cart. Now, what that is, there's a couple of strategies with that. The ones who are on your list, a lot of the email automation providers are able to know if someone on your list is now visiting your website and if they add it to cart but did not buy and then they leave. And so the system now knows that they have something in their cart, they have not bought, and they know what product they added to the cart. And so you can actually send an email that says, hey, those items, such and such and such items, are still in your cart. Go there and buy it. That is on the first day. Or maybe you can send it within an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. Because you don't know what just happened here. Maybe he was going to buy something and all of a sudden the wife or the husband called and says, hey, come and pick me up. And then he turns off the computer. He goes thinking he's going to come back, but then he forgets because life gets in the way. So he gets this email that reminds him that he's got something on their cart. He has product in his cart. And so he goes back and finishes the purchase. So that's one situation. Maybe the kids came in. Maybe he had to go for dinner. It was time for dinner and they want to all eat together. And so there's all kinds of reasons why you want to remind them maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, or 4 hours later that they still have a product on their cart. Let's say they don't purchase though. Okay, then the next day you can give them an incentive to purchase from from you. So you can tell them, look, if you purchase, we'll give you a 15 to 20% discount. So that's a strategy that's been pretty effective for e-commerce especially. All right, the last email strategy that I want to talk about is the content email sequence. Essentially, when you do marketing and he's in a specific, or that person is in a specific email sequence because he shows some interest about a product, you don't want to show anything else but the email sequence that sells that product. But eventually, they either buy or they're going to fall off that email list. After 7 days or 14 days, they haven't bought, most likely they're not going to buy from you for that product. They went somewhere else, or they decided to put their purchase on hold. So when they fall off that email list, they're going to fall into a general bucket list where these people are not on any of the email sequences to purchase a specific product. So what do you do with them? You still have to kind of keep a relationship with them until they raise their hand again and say, oh, I'm interested in this service that you provide or this product that you provide. But until they raise their hands, they're in that general bucket email list where they're just kind of, you're waiting for them to raise their hands. And so to these people, you want to start providing them with good content. Some of it will be promotional. Some of it will be informational, to build the relationship. And you have to have the right ratio of promotion to good content that cause people to want to open their email. If all you do is send email promotions, eventually they're going to tune you out or unsubscribe or click spam so that it goes directly to the spam folder. But if you provide good information that solves their problems, good tips, valuable information, then they'll be better trained to at least open your emails and see what's there. So depending on your industry, you're gonna figure out what your ratio is, right? And that's the last one. So in this particular email, you provide good content, and once in a while you send a promotion that says, hey, we have this product. Do you want to raise your hands? And they'll raise their hands by either checking out that page that promotes that product, maybe filling out a form that says, hey, I'm interested. And so they become a lead again for that particular product, and they're added to that email sequence. And as soon as you do that, you delete them from the general bucket. And all of that's very easy to set up. The email service providers have made it very simple to do all of that. A lot of it is drag and drop to design your email. You don't need a programmer. It's all quite simple. It's still complicated enough that you might want to have someone who knows what he's doing to understand what kind of marketing messaging, what should be the first email you send. It should be an email that talks about the gains and the benefits. Is it an email that talks about logic and the reason why they should buy from you from a logical standpoint? Because some people, they're more kind of logically inclined. So logic works well. Other people, it's more about the benefits and the gains that they're going to get. And other people, they react more to that fear kind of email of missing out. And so you have to have different type of email strategies. These are just 3 of multiple strategies that you add to an email sequence that may last, 14 days or 7 days. So when you do this right, you're gonna appeal to different types of people who are interested in your products. And then after 14 days or 30 days, depending on the type of product you're selling, you might, at that point, they may drop out from that email list for that particular product and go to that general bucket list, at which point you're going to show them a lot of good content. All right. And this is not something that you build right away. That's something you're going to build over time. But the more you do that, the better it is, because the more content they consume from you, the more they're likely to buy from you when they're ready to make a purchase. Okay. And also you can use email marketing to move them through their journey. You have to understand what their journey is. A number of them, depending on what you're selling. Let's say you're selling, kitchen remodeling. Well, some people are not don't know they need kitchen remodeling. So promoting kitchen remodeling to these people, they're not gonna go and buy from you. They may be more aware of the problems and the frustration of their current kitchen. Maybe they don't have enough storage space, and because of that, everything is disorganized. So creating a promotion that talks about how to create more storage space and how to solve the disorganization in their kitchen would be something that will appeal to them. And now you can introduce the solution of kitchen remodeling. You see what I mean? And now you move them from being aware of the problem, of the frustration, to being aware of the potential solutions of the type of kitchens that can solve their problems in that limited space they have. Let's say they have a limited space, right? And that is the audience you go after. And then once you move them to the different types of design, then they're gonna of the solution, they may start asking themselves, okay, well, what kind of design should I have? You see, now they're going into the consideration stage. They went from the awareness, where they become aware of the problem, they become aware of the solution, and now they start to consider the different options. Should they go with this design, more simplistic, more this, more that? And your email sequence can move them through that phase until they're ready to make a decision. And so that's how, if you understand the buyer's journey to go from being only aware of the problem and frustration to being able to make a decision, then you can create a sequence of emails that moves them from the beginning to the end. Some people will come from an ad where you know they're already aware of the problem and they already are in the consideration stage. So for them, you don't want to get them started on an email sequence that tells them about the frustration. You want to go where they are. You want to start the email sequence where they are. And it's quite easy to do that because you know which ad they came from, you know when which landing page. Landing pages where they land on your website when they enter your website. They don't always land on the first page they see is not always the home page. So the first page they see when they land on your website, that's called a landing page. And so based on the landing page they are, based on the keyword they use to land on your website, what ad they clicked, you know where they are on the journey and you know what sequence to get them into. All right? Anyway, that sounds very complicated, but it's actually quite simple to put on together, and we can do that for you. The next one in our email strategy is content marketing part 2. There is 2 in French. Now, this is where now you've launched your ad campaign, you're building your email list, it is all working very well, you're making profit. The idea of proofing your business from recessions, from proofing your business from situations like COVID and other types of situations where there is all kinds of upheaval in the economy. The idea is to create as much content at that point so that if it comes to a situation where you cannot advertise anymore because they lock down the economy or they've done something where you cannot move, you cannot advertise because people are not, acting on the advertising. It's just costing you money and it's not making you any money. Well, if you have enough content online, people will find your content on Pinterest when they search for there's going to be at that point a smaller group of people that are still willing to go and spend money on construction. Although in your case, in the construction industry, you guys did very well in the COVID, especially in Canada and in US, because they gave a lot of free money and people were stuck at home, so they started doing some renovations. So there's a lot of areas in North America where they did a lot of construction. But let's assume but there's a lot of other industries that did not benefit from COVID and they were pretty screwed. And so having a good social following, having a good email list where you can start promoting new services that you can provide online, that is something that, or having products you could sell online that can continue to bring you revenues, that will recession-proof your company. And continuing with the content marketing is important. You'll be able to do that because your advertising campaign is generating some income. So therefore, now you can take a percentage and continue to grow your followings while the economy is doing well. You don't want to start doing that while the economy is going crazy and then you say, oh my God, we need a new way of generating income. It's too late by then. It takes time to build your content marketing to a point where now it's generating some income. So you want to do that while you're having money, not while you're having a financial crisis. You see what I mean? And so that's why we're doing the advertising, building an email list, using advertising. Now you're starting to make really good money and you can start investing toward content marketing and social media marketing on a regular basis. And you guessed it, the next one on the list is social media marketing, where you want to continue to increase the engagement. And we move on to the next one, which is influencer marketing. Now, that's not for everybody, but influencer marketing, for example, is very good for the clothing industry, if you're selling clothing online and so forth. But if you have influencers who have a good following in your industry, like let's say in terms of home decor, well, if you have home decor and you have an influencer that influences in your area, if you're a local business, or influence in your country, if you're, provide the service to the whole country, then you may want to talk to them and have them promote you for a fee. And that goes a long way in multiple ways. First of all, if they create a video that talks about you and the benefits and why you should go about that, they should go about, hiring you or buying your product, you can use their video and promote it on your social media platforms and even use it as an ad, as a paid ad, because he's an influencer, right? The second thing also is that he or she will post their video on their own social media. And if they're a good influencer, they have a good following, they'll get all these people that are following them, watching the video, and a number of them will come and buy from you. So hopefully the influencer is good enough in their promotion. A caveat to that, I have tried to, because there was, at one point I was doing some influencer marketing for a company, and I didn't care about their following. What I wanted is for them to create some videos that talks about the product. It's like having a third-party person talking about the product and doing maybe an unboxing where they open the box, they show the products, they say how good it is, they try it, they say, oh my God, it's delicious and all that stuff. And I wanted to use that as an ad. But if they have a very low following or low engagement, and there are some tools you can use online to get to assess the level of engagement they get. If they have a low engagement, there's a reason for that. A lot of the times they are going to create some ads that will do, or create some videos that will do very little. People will not really, engage with the ad when you use it as an ad. And so you might want to invest on a little bit more money, or at least if they're an up and coming and you don't have a lot of money to invest into an influencer, but they're up and coming, look at their content and make sure that it is really good content. They're getting really good engagement and they're growing quickly. At that point, you may want to jump in and get them to promote your products and services, because at that point, it's kind of the golden goose kind of a thing where they don't cost a lot of money, or they're free. They will do it to get the product for free because they're just up and coming. They just need content at that point, but they're still going to create a really good video for you. All right. So that's the influencer marketing. We can help you with that. We have experience with that too. The next one and the last one is off-page SEO. Now, why is this one the last one? Off-page SEO is, as long as after you've done your Google business listing, if you qualify for that, the rest of it may take 6 months to a year to 2 years to really start to see the good results. Some SEO experts will tell you, oh, I can get you on the search engines and ranking high in 24 hours. I've heard that many times. And they could for keywords that are not competitive. Okay? They're not being honest with you. What I mean by this is they can get you ranking for a zip code. Nobody is targeting a zip code, right? They can get you targeted for, let's say you're a mold removal in Tampa Bay, in this area of Tampa Bay. So they say mold removal in this area of Tampa Bay with this zip code. And it's like, look, that key phrase is like 6 miles long, right? Multiple words, and nobody's searching for it. But they're going to type it and says, look, you're number one in 24 hours. I can do that for you, right? But the keywords that are really generating the sales, that are really generating the traffic. Most people will not type in this long key phrase. They'll type in mold removal Tampa. Now that is probably a much more competitive keyword, and that will take you time to get up on the top on the search results of Google. And so the reason why this is the last on the list is because it's going to cost money and labor costs to get you to be on top there. So what does it require? Google will look at a number of things. One of them is, social media marketing, for example, will help you in your SEO. So you've already done a lot of things that will help you. You want to create content where people, let's say you create a content about how to avoid mold growing in your house, and it's a fantastic piece of content, and it's a blog on your website, and now people are starting to link. It says, hey, I've discovered this article about this mold removal. Here's the link to go and read that article. It's fantastic. Well, the more people are linking to that article, the more likely that this page on your website will start ranking high. But getting people to link to that article will take time. And sometimes you'll have to hire someone who is an SEO expert to get link from different areas on the web to link back to certain pages on your website to start to get it to rank higher and higher and higher. And that takes time. That's what's called link building. And that takes a while to do. Okay. There's something called social signals. It's kind of indirectly helping as well, where Google is able to see that your business name and your content on social media is being shared, is being liked. There's a lot of activities during that time around your content. That is a signal that shows that your website is a trusted website. And so what off-page SEO is about is not to tell Google what you're about, because they already know what you're about if you've done your on-page SEO, the first item on the list. It's more to tell Google that you are reputable, you're an authority in this industry, and that you're more of an authority than your competitors. Therefore, you should rank higher on the search engines. And Google has they keep it secret, right? They keep their factors that they use secret, and they're using probably 200 to 300 different factors to figure out who should rank above the other. Okay, but there's some elements that are more important. For example, links. Not just the number of links linking to your website, but the quality of the link. For example, if a university links to you, wow, that's much better than if Joe Blow website links to you. You see what I mean? And so off-page SEO is the last one on the list just because it takes time to do it. You have to hire someone to do it, or you have to do it. Either way, there's a cost there, either cost in your time or cost in money for a while without generating any revenues. That's why I put the priority to paid advertising. And the reason why I put priority on content marketing is because it helps your SEO. Social media helps your SEO. All of these elements helps your SEO because it creates link to your websites. And so by the end, you hire someone to do your off-page SEO to kind of give it the extra push for the next, and by then you've already got quite a bit of SEO done with the other activities. All right, that was a lot of content we just covered here. So when should you follow that guideline and when should you not follow that guideline? So let me give you some examples. Let's say you're an influencer. You want to start by influencing. You don't need a website. So you won't start with on-page SEO. You won't start with anything other than probably content marketing on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and so forth, and some social media marketing. And essentially, that's all you'll do for, however many months you'll do until you gather enough of a following that you can start monetizing this. And there's multiple ways you can monetize that. One of them is that Google and YouTube and YouTube, Facebook, and all these social media platform will pay you every time somebody watch a lot of this content. Essentially because they make money through that content by showing ads. Well, these ads generate revenues and you get a percentage of these revenues. The other way is as you build a following, especially if you're up and coming or you already have a big following, brands will start coming to you in order to promote their products, so you can start making money that way. So some brands will ask you to sponsor, will want to sponsor your next video or your next piece of content. All right. And the third one is you can create a website with a store and you can start promoting your own products and services. So there's multiple ways you can generate income, but the first step is to build a following. If you are a service provider or you sell a product or a number of products, most likely you're going to follow that guideline. Okay. Now, if you're able to show the benefits right on your ad, you might be able to get away with not doing the market. You can get away with not having the content marketing part 1 and social media marketing part 1 at first. You can go on to paid advertising right away, while after that you start building up your social media with content marketing and social media posts. And the reason why I'm saying this is, for example, I'll give you an example of that. There was this ad where you had two people with a shirt, like a dress shirt. They were on this gym type of bicycle where you're pedaling in place. And one guy, you could see the sweat under his arm, and the other one does not see any sweat. And that was the main benefit they were showing, is that this dress shirt will not show any kind of sweat marks. And so they're able to show that, and people will click the ad, they go to the website, and then they can purchase the shirt. And you can get away with not having a lot of content on your website if your ad can demonstrate the benefits. Another way I've seen this also is 3D video, like realistic 3D video. And they were showing how, a can of pop would come from 2D to 3D, and they were really showing how they're able to take 2D into 3D and amazing animation and so forth. And they had different types of ads created that way. So they didn't really have a lot of social media posts and content marketing done, and they were still doing okay because their ads were that good. Mind you, their ads would be even better if they had a good social media presence, because my client, we were looking to see if we can hire someone to do the 3D, realistic 3D, and we were going to hire them, but because they didn't have a real social media campaign, or they didn't have a lot of good content, they had bad reviews, we decided not to go with them. You see, so they did lose some sales. I came close to hiring them, but just because of that element of bad reviews and so forth, I decided not to go with them. So in review, you have to look at how much credibility you need to have to sell your products. The more credibility you need to build, the more you should have some content marketing and social media posts first. The less you're able to demonstrate the benefits in an ad, the more social content you need and the more content marketing you need to create, right? So you have to kind of use judgment in that area, okay? All right, I hope you like the content that I've created, and I hope it's going to help you through it. If you need some help, feel free to contact us. I have over 22 years of experience in marketing. My chief branding officer has over 19 years of experience. My graphic designer has 26 years. My Google ad has 10 years. So everyone that works in our company has a good amount of years, enough to apply their judgment and their experience to make sure that your campaign works. If you have any questions, write them in the content section. We'll do our best to answer them, and we might even create a video to answer these questions. So go ahead. Let us know what you think of this video. Ask your questions. Write your comments. Would love to hear them.